Welcome to the Wedco podcast, where wedding wisdom meets street smarts.
We're dishing out all the tips, tricks, and wedding goss to take your wedding to the next level.
Time to ditch the formalities and get this party started. Hello and welcome to the Wedco podcast. I'm Togger.
And I'm Joel, and we're here at the beautiful Old Dairy Maleny.
And today we have Jo with us, owner of the Old Dairy. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
Good. Thank you so much for coming on.
Welcome to paradise.
And thank you so much for having us here. It is the dream.
It's an absolute pleasure. It's great to have you guys come up and really check out our place.
Yeah, it's epic.
When we drove down the gates like this morning, we actually both haven't been here before.
Yeah.
We've only seen it on socials, and obviously it's stunning on socials. And we drove down, you come down the hill and you're like, it's massive.
Oh.
Like it's huge. Like just the land and everything here, it's stunning.
It's really actually really special as you come down, because often for our couples that are coming down here to get married, they often say, we see all these magic pictures on social media, but we don't know how to put it all together.
Yeah.
So when people come down the driveway, it is magic, and it is lovely to see how it all fits in together like a beautiful puzzle.
Yeah, definitely.
Amazing.
And did I hear earlier that was it 96 acres that you've got here?
Yeah, we've got just over 90 acres here.
Hectic.
So we're pretty lucky. And where we're positioned, we just sit beautifully in the valley. We get the most amazing sunsets.
Yep.
It's picture perfect, really.
Yeah, so good.
I'd love to hear like the origin stories of how this all came about. Like maybe going back to like purchase, had you owned it?
Yeah, okay. So it goes back actually just over 20 years now. So I know I couldn't have been that old, right?
That's what I'm saying.
But my now husband, we were boyfriend and girlfriend back there. We came up one weekend like many people do, and we were dreaming about, wouldn't this just be magic to own a little piece of paradise up here? And, you know, we chipped away and the dream became a reality, and we ended up purchasing this land. And it was really just as a bit of a hobby farm for us. And we never dreamed that it would be what it is today. But 20 years down the track, here we are, a wedding venue.
Yeah.
So when you purchased, it was to live here, or was it, were you living here at the time?
No, we weren't living here. We were literally just coming backwards and forwards from Brisbane, and we would pitch a tent up here.
Oh, amazing.
So
it was literally just a piece of land.
So it had the original farmhouse here, and this building was also on another outhouse building.
Yep.
And, we've just slowly chipped away and renovated and I guess just explored our creativity and made it what it is today. And so it's been a slow evolution, I think, from where it is. And so it actually became a wedding venue as my sister-in-law wanted to come and get married up here.
It's always the way, isn't it?
So
Literally.
she said, look, I'm thinking that, maybe I could just have a little bar outside the milking sheds, and my husband's quite competitive. And so my father-in-law had said to her, look, how about I just make a little bar for you instead of sitting outside the milking sheds, what if I just make a little bar inside the milking shed?
And that's how the reception venue
And that is exactly how the Fox and Turkey came to be. And the Fox and Turkey is everything inside is reclaimed, reused products.
Epic.
The fence posts are off from all the paddocks around here. The only things that's new are the tractor seats inside.
We didn't want tetanus or anything like that.
The electrical lines are all through the milk vat lines, and it's really quite special. So, but my husband, being the competitive man he was, well, if my dad's building something, I should build something.
Yeah.
So he built the bell tower.
Yeah, gotcha. I was going to say the bell tower.
Yeah, so we were actually looking, we were saying, well, we need to have like a barbecue area for us to have canapes and drinks, so I'll build the bell tower.
Far out.
And so they sort of had this little competition going before the wedding, and that's how it sort of started. And after she got married here and had a beautiful wedding, we lots of people just came to us and were saying, oh, could we get married there?
Were they friends and stuff, or just randos?
Kind of people of people, you know.
Yeah.
And so eventually we sort of said, well, if we're going to do this, we have to do it properly.
Yep.
And if it's going to work, then let's create something really special.
Yeah, for sure.
And we wanted to create something that, we love to have a party.
Yeah.
And we've had many great times up here.
You invite yourself to every wedding. You're just
absolutely.
like, we're on the guest
we
list.
are all in. But we love to have a great time. So we wanted to make something that other people wanted to have a good time.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
I think that's why this place has a great vibe.
Yeah.
It's something special about here that people come and they want to have a good time.
Yeah.
And that's what we love too.
Yeah.
We love seeing people's excitement, people's energy, people's families coming together. It's super special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it a lot of local people around here, or where do you find most of your brides and grooms are coming from?
We get them from everywhere, actually. We get lots of beautiful local couples that are coming to get married here, but we also get a lot of international people that fly in
Yeah.
as well. So, we're often doing little FaceTime tours of people overseas. Sometimes people's parents will come and check out the venue,
Yeah,
and
fair.
the kids are flying home from overseas to come and get married. So, interstate people, we've had certainly people from West Australia come.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a perfect destination wedding
Yeah,
place
for sure.
really
Yeah.
here.
Especially when you see the photos, it's totally understandable why. Like
Yeah.
when you see your Instagram feed and you're like, oh yeah, people are going to travel for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we love the fact that the couples mostly come for a weekend, so they've got time here to spend with their family and friends and not rush things and things. When people travel for a long time, you want to be able to spend time with
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
with those loved ones. So
A lot of the times at the wedding, it feels like, especially if you have a bigger one, the bride and groom are kind of just saying hello to everyone, and that's kind of half
Yeah,
their
true.
night. So it is
Yeah.
so nice being able to even spend the night before, so you can actually do that part prior. So the actual wedding day is special, and you're not doing the informal, like all that things.
that's right.
Yeah.
And I mean, big destination weddings are not for everybody. So we also, do the beautiful intimate elopements and small ceremonies as well. So we cater for everybody, really.
Yeah.
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 So I just want to hash on the accommodation side of things. Obviously, we're in this beautiful room right now, which I believe is where the bride typically would get ready. You've got accommodation on site for...
We sleep up to 12 on site.
Yeah, awesome.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so we've got the 2 cottages. Often the brides will get ready for before the wedding in this one, but
Yep.
it's not always that way.
Yep.
Everybody's different, so and it's your choice really.
Yep.
We saw the wine cellar downstairs. That looks pretty epic.
There is a fantastic man cave downstairs
Unreal.
that is a beautiful cellar.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic for photographs, but it's also fantastic for just a little
getaway.
cheeky midnight whiskey as well.
Definitely.
Like 50 people down there with a DJ or something.
It's just you just downstairs.
Yeah, just me down there.
Oh, that's so good.
And then talking about like the destination side of things, are most people booking the venue for the whole weekend, or do you do multiple weddings over a weekend?
Mostly we do weddings over a weekend. However,
Yep.
we do some single Saturday, Sunday weddings as well. But people do like the opportunity of having it for the whole weekend. But we do both.
Yeah, and that's something when they inquire with you, they might say like, look, we want to be there the whole weekend. Can we book the accommodation? And
Absolutely. And then, that caters really well for the local people that are coming up to get married in their local place as well.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Oh, amazing. That sounds really cool.
Yeah.
So exciting. And then, so going back to the timeline, so this obviously wasn't a wedding venue prior. How did you going through like the whole DO process and that? We know that's like a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
It definitely took a long time
Yep.
and a lot of patience.
Yep.
And, in the end, I guess really people just want something that's going to work well for the community, and
Yeah.
you've got to take that into consideration. So as much as it is a process, in the end, it's
Yep.
really worth everything here, because here we are at the end part of it
Yeah.
with an amazing place. And
Yeah. I feel like so many people take that for granted when, there are like a lot of beautiful places. They're like, oh, we should just make this a wedding venue. And you're like,
yeah. I would love to say it's that easy, and it certainly hasn't been.
I can imagine
And
it'd be a big pain point for you. Yeah, a few people get glassed.
look, I'm trying very hard to keep a straight face here. And look, it's like life really, isn't it?
Yeah.
things just don't land in your lap.
Yeah,
You have to
totally.
work hard for things,
Yeah.
and we're not afraid of hard work.
Yep.
And we love to be creative up here, and with that, RNI, those sort of people, really. We're happy to do the hard yards, and we're happy to put the effort in to make something really work.
And it shows like, so like you said that it's kind of been expanding and evolving over the last like 20 years. We can see outside that there's some renovations going on. And Keely said earlier that you're currently not taking on any weddings, or not taking on weddings, but there's no weddings right now.
Yeah, look, we often find for a venue like this, we need to have some downtime that we can do a little bit of renovation, fix up paintwork, fix up all the little pieces that come together to make it because
after the parties you have.
yeah, but I think when you are solidly booked through, you need to make that space to make these little bits of magic happen.
Definitely.
And
it can get away from you so easily, and then you look at it like 5-10 years down the track and you're like, dude, we need to revamp this whole thing.
yeah, so we always do like to factor in time to actually do those little bits.
That's awesome.
Pieces. Yep. So and we love creating, and we don't like to be bored with seeing the same thing all the time. So we do like to jazz things up a little bit. So sometimes they're just small little gardens that come here and there, or and we think about things. We've had a bit of a 5-year plan, and maybe about 3 years ago we planted a beautiful maple avenue down in another paddock. So we're about 3 years in, and they're just starting to really come together. So we like to imagine things for our couples, and what's going to look magic in a picture. How do we make it different? How do we, so we're always thinking like that. And we have an amazing team here, and with the whole team, it kind of comes together.
Yeah.
And so talking about, I guess, ceremony spaces then, is there a few different options of where people would typically get married for the ceremony?
We have 90 acres of imagination here.
I thought you better stop and say we've got 90 options. I was like, oh, shit.
No,
Let's run through them all.
Look, every couple's different.
Yeah.
Some people really like the magic of nature. So we've had the most beautiful weddings underneath trees. We have a beautiful natural arbor just down in a paddock behind us where 2 trees join.
Yeah,
we have
cool.
rainforest. We have the amazing like valley vistas. We have the maple avenue.
Yeah.
We have little country laneways that go through the rainforest and things. It really is spoiled for choice, really.
Yeah, for sure. We actually had a couple of questions written in from some people that we would like to ask. So one of the questions that we had was, what's the maximum amount of guests that we can have? We have a huge family.
So our capacity here is 90. We seat 90 in our reception space. So 90
awesome.
is our capacity.
So they can have, like, let's say they can have some more for ceremony, and then they can sit up to 90, or are you 90 capped
We're
for the
90
venue?
capped
Okay,
for our
cool.
venue.
Yep.
So even though we have this amazing space, we're still capped at 90.
Yeah,
Perfect.
cool.
Yep.
Do you guys do viewings so that we can check out the wedding venue beforehand?
Yes, we do viewings. Often they'll happen on a Sunday afternoon after weddings have come through for the weekend. We certainly do midweek viewings as well. Sometimes people will come down in the afternoon and check out that amazing sunset, and come and have a little look through there as well. We also do phone video tours as well. So if you are interstate, overseas, we can show you around that way as well.
Yeah, awesome. And how do they go about getting, is that just inquire through your website?
So if you inquire through our website, we have a little, drop-down box that you can inquire through,
Yeah,
and
awesome.
our beautiful Keely will get in touch with you, and we'll make it happen for you.
Yeah, beautiful. Unreal. Actually, Steve covered this one. You got multiple ceremony locations. You got 90 of them. And you've got accommodation for the bridal parties. You've covered that one. This is a really, really good one that I'm intrigued to know about. How do you guys feel about external wedding day coordinators?
Oh, great.
Do you guys have a wedding day coordinator on site?
Currently, at the moment, we don't specifically offer one.
Mm-hmm.
Something that we may be looking into in the future.
Yep.
But yeah, we certainly have a couple of people that regularly come here.
Yep.
And that always works really well when someone really knows the venue
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
It's much easier
Yeah.
for them to make the magic happen as well.
Yeah,
so
make things flow.
Yeah, I think, an on-the-day coordinator just helps take the stress off the couple getting married really and, just puts a little put the list in somebody else's hand and let them take care of that.
Yeah.
But what does a team look like on site on a wedding day here?
So we at the Old Dairy will always have someone on site from a venue perspective for you. And then it's really up to our clients, our beautiful guests that come to put together their list. We have a package. We have people that we often get here regularly that we can recommend to you. We don't always necessarily say you have to have whoever's on that list.
Yeah.
We're really open to seeing new people come.
Yeah.
But obviously we will recommend people that we work closely with that we know are going to do a great job on the day.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so you just have like recommended suppliers that you trust and are going to do a good job and you trust essentially with the property as well.
Yes, absolutely. But we're open-minded to having, sometimes people have people that are special to them, like celebrants that they know that they want them to marry them, and obviously that's really important.
Yeah.
So
Do
we're gonna be
you have
open-minded to that.
a blacklist? We went to a wedding, a venue recently, and they had a very small blacklist, but they were just like, these people essentially ruined someone's wedding day. And so they're like, these people, if you say you want to book them for their wedding, nope.
Look, I would never say that we've had a blacklist. I don't really ever remember something that bad actually ever going
That's awesome.
Yeah.
that wrong, really. But, certainly, we like to talk to people about what their plans are and, to have a chat to them about, which direction their wedding's going in.
Yeah.
Yes, but
Yeah.
So
this
far,
was
no
more like
blacklist.
the one that we found out, it was a caterer and they just completely messed up everything. They didn't bring a whole bunch of stuff. Actually, that can even segue into something. What's provided for like the reception? Do you guys include like silverware plates, anything like that, or?
So basically, we are venue hire only. So everything on top of the chair and table comes in from the couples getting married.
Yeah, beautiful.
So a lot of times people will get that either through their caterer or through the stylist that will come
beautiful.
on board.
Yep.
And they can sort of they're just amazing at setting those tables, those stylists.
Yeah.
They
Unreal.
just make the magic happen. So so everything from the table up comes on in.
Yeah,
cool.
perfect.
And caterer wise, we have an amazing kitchen and lots of facilities there for the catering, but the catering comes in off-site
cool.
as well.
Perfect. And I'm sure you have like 3 or 4 that just are regularly in here because they are beautiful.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And we want the couples to come and, rave about the people that are coming in with them as well. So
It still all reflects on you, doesn't it? Like even though you don't do the catering, it's still the experience they had with your venue.
yes, you'd be very lucky that I don't do the catering.
Just everyone's getting sausage rolls.
Yeah, veggie bite toast if it was from me.
Yeah. I certainly have helped at the end of the night make those ham and cheese toasted sandwiches for the 10:30 call though.
Yeah. And so 10:30 curfew for
It's an 11 o'clock curfew here on the
awesome.
weekends. Obviously midweek is 10 o'clock.
Okay.
But 11 o'clock on the weekend.
That's amazing.
Awesome.
I feel like that's pretty late for. I don't actually know the Sunshine Coast areas very
it's
much.
kind of funny because I think, when you're young, 11 o'clock seems very early, right?
Yeah.
But, the day is so big
Yeah.
that 11 o'clock actually, the couples will always say, you know what, 11 o'clock was kind of perfect.
Yeah.
And the great thing about here is that we sleep 12 on site. So generally the bridal party will come back here. They might just have a little sneaky nightcap in the cellar before they head to bed. But most couples feel like 11 o'clock is actually a great time to wrap things up.
Yeah, I had a 1 o'clock finish on 2 days ago in Melbourne, and got to like 9 o'clock, and you're like 1. It's a lot.
Right. Yeah,
it's a big day.
It's a really big day for couples, and it starts early for particularly the brides that start to get their hair done from like 7
the guys
and 8.
playing golf. Come on, that's early.
Yeah, that's an early start for them. The golf carting and
because like I'm down in Byron, I don't actually know if there's any venues that are 11 down that way. And just like it feels very similar here with like the beautiful rolling hills. 11 feels that's good.
Yeah, no, it works well.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a like a noise limit, like a restriction at all?
We do have noise curfews, even though it feels like we're in the middle of absolute nowhere. We still do have noise curfews.
Yeah.
But as the venue managers, we just silently are in the back, and if we've got little sound things that we can measure if we have to, if we think things are getting a bit out of hand, and we just give the silent nod to the musicians just to turn it down a little bit. But generally everyone's okay with
for sure.
It's not.
We're
still having a good time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I feel like by now you would know if it's too loud. Like straight away you'd be like, oh,
if the roof's shaking, it's too loud.
There's a storm or there's...
That was built solid. That's pure, that's hardwood. And it's shaking.
The roof's shaking, it's way too loud.
Yeah. Oh, too good.
And so as far as like accommodation options around, people were just pretty much like staying in Maleny getting buses down, or like how does...
We are spoilt for choice up here. We're very lucky. We have accommodation just on top of the hill. We have accommodation on the other side of the valley this way, and accommodation on the side of the valley that way. There's lots of Airbnbs. Maleny is full of beautiful choices for places to stay. Also for, big family homes where whole families can come and stay as well. So, we've got a bit of a guide for our visitors of choices from around.
Beautiful.
I think there's also the Visitors Information Centre that can come in and help you with all of that. We find what works really well here is that couples will often get buses. So they'll do the run of picking everybody up, and then at 11 o'clock the buses arrive, and then everybody is delivered home safely, and it's a great way to wrap the night up.
It is.
Definitely.
Yeah, everyone can have a good time. They don't have to worry, go back to the accommodation. They're really cool. And then do you have like wet weather options as far as like for ceremony?
Yes.
Yep.
So we have our big reception over our reception area called the barn over that way, and then off to the side we have a dance floor, which is actually now just having a few little titivating things done to it now, just to jazz it up a little bit, and that is our wet weather option at the moment.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And like a lot of venues at the moment, we find finding new ways to market. Your online presence is very, very good, and your website and everything like that. We find like, with all the trails coming on board, a lot of venues are seeing the benefit of, coming onto those and kind of promoting the whole area.
Oh, absolutely.
Rather than just like, no, this is our venue and come here.
Oh, no, absolutely. Look, we're great friends with all the venue owners around here. So it's really lovely actually. And if we can't help somebody out for something that they need, we can certainly direct them in the place that somebody else that may help them. And we often do that.
Yeah. So it's a pretty collaborative process between all the venues looking after each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But there's quite a few venues up here in Maleny. So absolutely. We work together, and it's really lovely, and we love getting together with them and having a drink.
Yeah. You just swap to different venues, like
totally.
Once every 6 months we go to a different venue.
Totally. We've got a venue just across the valley over there, and we
take our swags and away we go.
we often have a drink with them.
That's awesome. That's so good. I was going to ask, obviously the grounds here look amazing. You've got a team of groundskeepers?
We do have a team. We do have a team of probably 1.5.
Yeah, cool.
Groundsmen. Mm-hmm. Jason is amazing, and
the second one's a midget, or
no? He's just, if you see some of the drone footage of our brass, and he just puts these amazing lines through it.
I was flying the drone before, and I was like, "This place is epic."
Yeah, it's been very wet lately, so. We're just in our little downtime where we're just the grass is not perfect at the second, but boy, oh boy, when wedding season happens, it is. And
That's
it's
awesome.
pretty magic. Yeah.
Do you have a typical wedding season here?
Generally from March right through to December.
Yep.
And then we'll usually take that little downtime off to, get
Revamp.
things ready around the place. We also have our festival that happens in January as well. So
Perfect.
that happens in there as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, and they went well.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
we've
I heard-
got we do a winter showcase and a summer showcase, and
Awesome.
And we just love having everybody come together and see, and all the vendors are on site, and
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big party and everyone's driving from everywhere and seeing a few venues.
Yeah,
and,
it's exciting. I think I can't speak for you guys, but I do remember like the moment you got engaged, just the level of excitement that happens is really, really special.
Yeah,
Because I
100%.
feel like, the moment you get engaged is almost like saying, I'm committing to you.
Yeah,
Let's
yes.
go on this journey together.
Yep.
And, it's so exciting having all that love come through the door, right?
yeah.
It's an epic industry to work in. Let's say, like we were saying that to other people as well. It's just like, what else would you want to do? Like you start working in this industry and you're just like, I don't want to go back and build houses.
For me, I was a midwife before I landed in this industry.
Yeah.
So for us, we've never really worked in the hospitality industry. So what we've created has really come from the heart. It's not about industry experience. It's really been about what would we want and how do we want to make this, how do we want to make people feel?
Yeah.
Because ultimately, as a midwife, I come from a service background. I want to be with people, providing, the best care that I can in the most amazing and special times.
Yeah.
So I really feel like that has helped me come into a wedding industry.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. And then what was I going to say about?
It definitely would translate coming from that industry into this, because it's one of those things that like it is like an exciting moment. It's like buying, like people when they feel excited about buying their first house, it's kind of like that could be their only house and that's that big expense for that life. Same as like it could be their only hopefully their only wedding.
Yeah.
So having a kid and stuff like that, I think it'd be
Kind of
similar.
defines who they are almost. Like they have it and so they just remember that forever. And yeah, it's pretty special.
Yeah. And I love when the grandparents come down. And, it's such a special moment for the grandparents when they've seen so much life come through. And I love helping them down to the ceremony and helping them to their seats and just, feeling their joy of that moment of watching life, really.
Yeah, to see what's happening with family. And yeah, and like you said, like some of the smiles and the photos we get of like the grandparents and stuff.
Yeah. Just like the hugs are hitting different. They're just like a deeper hug, just like a next level respect for the grandparents and stuff like that. It's beautiful.
Is there any big no-nos for you from brides and grooms where you like there's just like, don't do this here?
My hot tip is like, that biodegradable confetti.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Might sound really weird, but I do find that it's quite a clear kind of look. And as soon as it sort of goes onto the ground, and when it gets wet or it just becomes slippery, like almost like a glue.
Yep.
So when it's on the bottom of your shoe, it's not great.
Yeah.
Not great.
Yep.
And when they say biodegradable, I'm really not sure at what the period of biodegradation actually is.
I've definitely seen a few when we rock up to some and you're like, when was the wedding? And you're like, there's still a bunch on the ground.
Last Saturday.
So for us, that's a really big, we don't want people slipping over.
Yeah.
And so we will always say, please, natural
Flowers and
flowers
leaves
and
and-
natural leaves. For
So
us.
no biodegradable confetti, or
it's
it's a recommendation.
Yeah.
Well, it's a high recommendation.
And I
Find
guess,
somewhere else.
I guess it comes back to the venue. Like if they slip over here and everything, it kind of falls back on you.
You
And,
just don't want that gluey feeling on your shoes.
Yeah, for sure.
and the groundskeeper's
And
being
that's
onto you.
that's an experience thing, really, because you think you're doing the right thing, but
Yep.
it's not always the best option.
Biodegradable sounds good.
Yeah, it's good
It
marketing.
Sounds good, but
So do rose petals.
I know I talked about the team here before, but
Yeah.
so we got Keely, like general manager or manager here.
Yes.
And then what does that look as far as like marketing and everything like that? Is she taking care of that?
Keely is the left, right hand. She's the left leg, right foot. She does an amazing job of putting it all together. She is totally dedicated to everything that she does. She lives and breathes the wedding industry, and she's an amazing asset to our team.
I mean, she's been incredibly hospitable to us this morning, so I can only imagine what she's like when she's dealing with a couple.
Yes, she's magic. So we have myself and we have another lady called Genevieve that work together on the weddings. We have our cleaning team, we have our landscaping team, and then my husband Ari, who likes to oversee everything else that
just
happens.
build new things randomly.
No, well, he loves to come to a wedding too. Don't worry.
Just for the drinks.
And anything exciting as far as like, because you're saying this is always evolving and we've got the renovations happening in the background as well. Is there anything else like as far as future planning at the moment?
Probably a little too early to say, but we're always thinking. Don't worry, we're always thinking.
Always thinking and evolving. Love it.
I'm so interested. I'm like, how much can we pry here? If we say it's not going to go on the episode.
We're always thinking.
Yeah, awesome.
Cool. I think you have to be, don't you? Like just stay relevant and in, the forefront of everyone's mind.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And does that is that like a collaborative team thing between the team, or is it just more you and your husband, or is it like when you're going to other venues and having a chat over a wine?
Oh, look, I think certainly my husband and I do have this creativity that happens, but, creativity comes from it can come from a conversation. It can come from going somewhere. It can come from going overseas somewhere and seeing something special.
Yeah.
So I would never say that it comes specifically from somewhere. And, we love chatting to people about, what do you dream? What next? What next?
Yeah. I just know that like when we get away, like if we go shoot a wedding together in Melbourne or something, it's like a time away from like our kids and our family and our wives and stuff like that. And it's like a time that we go sit down, have dinner, have a beer and just like chat and like talk a lot of business. And like we come up with like that deep thought that just you don't really think about when you're just running everyday life.
Yeah, well, I guess for us, often we're busy up here with weddings. So getting our quiet time where we're driving our little buggy around or the kids are on their motorbikes and, that's the time that we sit in the paddocks and the dreams come.
Yeah. Are the kids involved with the running at all?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Our children, you'll always see them here when we're having our big festivals. They're here, they're working hard, they're talking to people. They like to do a little charity drink stand as well. My son will come and help me. My oldest one will come and help with the weddings
awesome.
As well. So, he'll be doing the rubbish runs and the cleaning of the bathrooms and things like that. So it's definitely a family affair. And they learn so much
definitely
as well.
The amount of knowledge I'd learn from doing that and just, this is what hard work is.
Yeah,
and this is what our family has built.
And they know hard work. They know from even being 3 years old, picking rocks out of the paddock to make the stone fireplace on the outside. They've known that their whole lives.
Yeah. And do they come up here with friends like when you're not booked and stuff like that to enjoy the place?
We do have, we try and always have a little bit of family time at some point.
Yep.
But we do have to book ourselves in. So they're often saying, when can we go next with our friends?
Yeah.
Sorry, buddy, you'll have to wait for a little while.
3 years?
Exactly.
Yeah, but no, we camp up here as well sometimes.
Sweet.
So we're very lucky. We feel very blessed.
Yeah, I love it. And you can tell like how passionate you are about the area as well. Like I feel like everyone we speak to up here, everyone is such a big community and you can definitely feel that coming through as well.
Oh, we're very lucky. The people that we work with on the whole throughout the whole community, we're very lucky. And, even just, at the end of a showcase that we'll get together and, the boys will be on the guitar and we'll be having a little jam and we'll all have a little sing along and it's just lovely, really.
Yeah.
We have a lot of fun.
When I was originally speaking to Maleny, we've got on next, and she was saying it's really important. Like, please bring people on the podcast that really serve our area and give to our area and not take away. And just even having that chat, and you're like, it's a special place, and you can tell, you just don't want people that are just kind of rocking up and taking.
Yes.
So it's it's really nice to hear that.
Yeah, but even for all those people and guests of all the weddings that travel here, you know, we always say once you've come here, a little piece of you is left here.
Yeah.
And hopefully you'll take a little piece of us with you as well.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. Well, do you have any other parting words or like where people can find you?
Look, on the website,
Yep.
www. The old Dairy Maleny.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, we look forward to chatting with you soon.
Yeah, beautiful.
Oh, well, thank you.
Thank you
Stay
so much
tuned
for
on
coming on.
Insta and Facebook,
Yeah, for
TikTok.
things coming up in the future.
Yeah.
In the future.
Yeah,
Yeah,
look,
yeah. Stay tuned.
stay
What's
tuned.
the timeline on that? Is that 3 months? Is it 6 months?
Who knows?
Opening up a venue in Europe.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Now there's an idea. No, and that's where the creativity comes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Let's get some wine.
Yeah.
No, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
It's
so
a pleasure.
much.
Thanks for
Appreciate
being
it.
here today.
Thank you.
Easy.
Thanks for tuning in to the Wedco podcast. We're dropping a fresh episode every week featuring industry professionals dishing out the wedding wisdom you need to turn those dreams into reality. Make sure you are following us on social media, you have those notifications turned on so we can help plan your wedding day. Your dream wedding day just got a whole lot easier. Thanks for listening.